Hello, everyone, and welcome back to What We Seek. Today, as you can see, we are at a new location. Yasmin and I are kind of matching with our baby blues, and we're super excited because we decided that every fourth episode, instead of diving into a topic, we are going to discuss some fun things. We are going to do a book club. This is the What We Seek book club.
Plus weekly update.
Yeah, and weekly life updates, because we realized it's amazing that we do these deep dives and we research into topics. Like, that's why we started this podcast. But we also just have so much fun in our normal everyday conversations. So we want to bring that to the podcast. And Yasmin and I have our Kindles. She got me this for my birthday. Let's show everyone our Kindles.
Well, mine is bad because I use it so much.
No, but yours is so cute.
Thank you.
You're the fastest reader I know, by the way.
Yeah.
Mashallah, like, you get through book. Like, it took me... Okay. Do you want to announce what book we're reading before we get into this? Everything we do is fueled by our desire to learn and grow, because we believe that what we seek is also seeking us.
Okay, first of all, I want to say I love this new podcast area. Like, this podcast room,
right?
Such a nice vibe. To keep it fair, one time we should have the teleprompter on your side, on one side. Next time it should be on my side.
I don't think they can move it. By the way, so
I'm just joking.
We're arguing because I can see myself on the...
And I can
see myself in the viewfinder, which if you ever see me just staring there, it means I'm looking at myself.
And I got ready literally like in the car. My hair is still wet and stuff, but I really don't care. I want to do like every fourth episode, I want us to do a fun episode because we said that we started this whole thing about like seeking and that we're also seekers and we don't want to talk to our audience from a place of up to down. Yeah. So we want to tell you on our own journeys and what we're seeking currently, what things are changing. And I like learning only when it's implemented into life. I don't like to just know a bunch of things and repeat them. I want to implement it when I can check it off and I know that I've achieved that and I have grown, then move on to the next thing. So we discussed like love and attachment, and a lot of the things that we were discussing were like subcategories to what love is. So maybe in the end we can also do a love update. And this book that I've picked specifically for this episode is love related, but it's a modern romantasy, which is a romance plus a fantasy. And I'm a fantasy reader, and this is the most popular book on Book Talk that is a fantasy or a romantasy series. So we've both read the first book and we're going to discuss it today and then take it from there, you know?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
The book that we're reading this week is going to be ACOTAR. This is A Court of Thorns and Roses. If you guys want to do this with us, you guys can also get the books and read it as we are. So we just finished the first one. And we're going to do 4 more episodes. And then on the 5th episode next time, we're going to be reviewing book 2 or whatever we've read in the next month. Because I know you are not as fast.
She is a slow reader.
But if you don't read it by then, I will spoil it for you. Because we have to tell our audience what's happening.
Talk about it. Yeah. So when we do these book reviews, there will be spoilers. So if you haven't read it.
Yeah. Skip.
But
these books are so old and most people have,
yeah.
But if you haven't, just read with us and we'll try to like keep it as the minimal. Like, I don't get spoiling per se because I feel like it's still like I still want to read things and make my own opinion of them. So really, like, nothing major happens in these books that you would think there is spoilers. Because it's a series, so little happens in every book. So it's not spoilers.
Yeah, you need to read the book to get the full in-depth experience.
Yeah, this is like the prequel to the actual big events that are gonna happen in the future.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like every series starts like that. Like, it's a build-up. It's like world building.
So much yeah, true. It is world building for sure. But I feel like so much happened in this book already.
Really?
Yeah, don't you think
so? Yeah. Yeah, but no, to me, it was a slow book. Like,
it was.
It was a very slow book. Like, it so much, like, could have happened. Like, a lot of books, every chapter, things are going down. Sure. And it's, like, very heavy. This was, like, very slow. In the beginning, like, 4 or 5 chapters, like, nothing's really happening. She's still in the woods. So, let's begin. Do you want to tell the story?
Okay, I'll tell a little bit and then you tell a little bit.
Okay, first you have to tell them the world.
How about you start first? Because I feel like you've watched more of these book talk videos than I have. So you intro the world.
I haven't watched like too many TikTok stuff, but I have made like presentation.
You made a PowerPoint?
Yeah.
We need to let them put it on screen.
Cause okay. No, not a PowerPoint. Just like I've written things down.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're starting with a court of thorn and roses. And this world is the map looks like the UK map. And then the island where Highburn is, so we have Perithian, which looks exactly like the UK map.
Really?
Yeah, it is literally a replica of the UK.
I'm so bad at geography.
So it's the UK map. And then the area in our world where we call Ireland is Highburn. The area where it's the UK for us is called Perithian, this land where the fairies live. And you know, the British and just like that area specifically, like the Scottish or like Celtic people had a lot of folklore regarding fairies. So where this is where that comes from and the inspiration behind it. So we have Perithian, which is the UK map. Perithian has 7 kingdoms, 4 kingdoms of the seasonal courts, and all of those 7. Okay, wait. Perithian is divided into 7 kingdoms of fairies. There's a border, and on the south is where humans live. So humans share this realm with 7 courts or 7 kingdoms of fairies. Those 7 kingdoms have 4 courts of seasonal courts. So they're summer court, spring court, autumn court, and winter. And then there's 3 northern courts, which are night, day, and dawn. And then on where the island is for us, that's where Highburn is. And we don't know anything about those people at all. So we haven't gotten into that at all yet. So our story starts with a 19-year-old girl. Her name is Farah. So Perithian fairies, and her name's also Farah, which is, it can be confusing.
Yeah, can we, before we like even dive into it, like I feel like the character names in this book are really weird to me.
Yeah, they are. Because they're fairies, they're supposed to give this illusion that like,
but they don't give
they're
me fairy
otherworldly
vibes. They just give me like Tamlin, like I don't know, it's not a cute name.
They do give me fairy vibes because they're all like not maybe used as often in in our world, but they're not elven. Like what's his name? Tolkien has like elven names, and those are like Eldamer, and you know, like their names end like that.
That's true.
These are like fairies, so they're in between.
They're like a little softer.
And fun fact: fairies were first talked about in Persian lore.
Really?
And we refer to them as Peri, which is spelled PH, and then that in English is fairy, or like faray, but it's paray.
I never knew that. You know, actually, fun fact, I don't know much about like the lore of fairies, but growing up, I used to believe in fairies. I still believe in fairies to a certain extent, but I had this book and it used to have a magnifying glass. And in the book, they would tell you to like go look in your garden and look for fairies. And I would spend hours trying to see fairies.
I don't believe in them. I know they exist.
Yeah, you do.
And also, I think that in like you shouldn't, because in Persian history, the reason why a lot of people don't know this is because the world has been told a history that was told by the Greeks, and the Greeks didn't like the Persians. But Persians, their kings used to meet with fairy or peri kings and have discussions of how to handle the lands between them. So
it's like another realm, basically, that we can't see.
Yeah, it's like the Jinn realm. So we have the Jinn world, which is also in the 3rd dimension. And then in the 4th dimension, we do have fairies and elves. But they all together ascended before the humans came onto Earth.
I feel like we would need, like, I would love, and some of my friends have said the same thing, us to do, like, a full deep dive into, like, the spiritual realm and, like, all of the planes of existence.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be so much fun.
Yeah,
and I think even for people that don't believe in it, I feel like it's always nice to keep an open mind and eye, because there is so much that exists beyond the veil of perception. And I feel like people are always so critical to dismiss things just to what's in the physical world, or even in a religious sense, like a lot of people believe in God, but then also in the Quran, mithkurin, and there's different creatures that exist. It's like, but we don't know what they are. So
yeah. And also whether you believe in something or not doesn't mean that it wouldn't exist just because you don't believe in it.
100%.
So for my understanding of Islam, any being that has the element fire in them has been rounded up into one category called jinn. But for us Muslims, we just refer to all of these beings that live in other realms as jinn.
Yeah.
But in folklore, people used to see these beings and actually identify what they are. So you have gargoyles and ogres and all of these mythical creatures that are actually jinn, but we just refer to all of them as one species.
One thing, yeah.
But those people who are like more into mysticism, they used to go and dive in and try to like contact these beings and stuff so they knew more about them. But elves in general, from my understanding of what I know of elves, is that they are peaceful beings and they all ascended together. And I do believe that a lot of people who write and their writing becomes really famous, they have information about other realms that is not passed down to us. So I feel like a lot of fiction gets sold to us as fiction, but it's actually the truth.
Yeah.
And they just tell stories that they make up in their minds, but the beings themselves are real. Like, I do think that Lord of the Rings, for example, is like 100% the truth, but not history. But the beings and the way those interactions happen and where they live and what they look like, all of those things, like the walking trees. And I feel like as we're going into this age of Aquarius where consciousness is rising, a lot of these veils will be removed for people and people are going to again see these beings. So I like to actually talk about this stuff because I feel like people should be prepared for when that happens, because we're told that when Mahdi comes, all the veils will be removed and that we'll actually see all of these beings, and we had to be good in order to protect ourselves spiritually when these beings are closer to us, because they used to trick us a lot and they used to hurt us. So veils were put in place so that it protects human beings and they can go on this path of evolution and raise their consciousness on their own without interruptions or without being tricked so much. Because even in this world, Perithian, Farah, this 19-year-old girl, knows these beings. Like in the human realm, even in their world, fairies are known to be tricksters. So when we start this whole journey, like she doesn't have a good like she doesn't think that these beings are good.
She thinks they're evil.
Yeah. So either in their human world, in a court of thorn and roses, either people believe that they are fairies are tricksters, or they believe that they are gods and they should be worshipped.
They don't have any in between.
Yeah.
But before we dive into that, I want to touch on something that you said. I was actually listening to a podcast, I want to say like a little over a month ago. It was Diary of a CEO. And he had a psychiatrist on there. I cannot remember his name. But he was actually talking about how human beings can only see sensory information that pertains to their survival. So like the way that we process this 3D world is not all of reality. Because if we were exposed to all of reality in its entirety, the human mind wouldn't be able to hold and process it all. And we wouldn't have evolved and survived as a species. So what you said is actually really accurate. Like he said that they've even done computer simulations on this where they make two types of creatures. One that can only see sensory information that pertains to their survival, like the animals around them, the food, the things that they need to access to survive. And another type of creature that can see every single thing. The ones that could see every single thing often don't survive because they're overloaded by all of this information. So human beings, like even though we think we know what reality is, we are seeing like 0.0001% of it.
And we're also told in the Quran that before Adam and Eve were placed on earth, God put veils between the realms and separated those creatures or beings from us and then placed Adam and Eve here. So if there are beings like going in and out, or if you hear of them and stuff, all of these beings were rule breakers, and so were witches. And we're also told this in, I think it's Surah Baqarah with Harun and Marut, where they come and they teach things that should not have been taught to human beings, where later on that becomes magic. Because elves and these beings know earth magic really well, because they're spiritual, they are like almost energetical beings, a lot of them. So they know how to tap into the energy of the earth. And even in this book, by the way, I want to keep going back to the book, because even in this book, magic comes with a price. a price has to be made for you to get that magic, which will get into this because that also is based on truth. Even when it comes to sihr or any magic here, a price has to be paid for that magic to happen. Sure. So this is an exchange between Earth and those beings get their magic from an exchange. Whereas human beings are miracle workers and we are the peak of creation, because when we get our magic, but it's not called, when we get our miracle worker, we make that exchange with God, not another being, creature. Not the earth or the energy of the earth itself, because the earth also has a soul. It's also a being. So when you take like maybe spices and you do something to them, again, you're making an exchange with those trees because those trees are also alive and they have a soul. So those beings know those stuff and they know that the price has to be made. So let's go back to the book. So A Court of Thorns and Roses, we begin with a 19-year-old mortal girl. So she's a human and her name is Farah. The story starts in the beginning with her hunting in a jungle. She's in a jungle and she's going around and she is a baddie with like an arrow. She knows how to hunt and she's like going into the forest and she sees this deer. The deer looks at her. She looks at the deer and she wants to hunt it, right? Because she has been hungry, like they're very poor with her family and she needs this deer, like she needs to hunt it. And then when she's about to hunt this thing, she hears something, she turns around and she sees this wolf that's the size of a horse. Like the biggest the biggest wolf she's ever seen. So she looks at the wolf and she realizes that this is no regular wolf. This might be a fairy. And in her mind, she kind of thinks of all the folklore that she's heard. But then she takes her arrow and I think she shoots the wolf first, right? But
she was trying to shoot the deer. No, I think the wolf killed the deer.
Okay.
And then she killed the wolf.
Yeah.
With the ash arrow.
But it was a weird thing because the wolf looked at her.
Made eye contact. While it was dying.
And then it chose to kill the deer and then she killed the wolf. So she got 2 kills that day, which was like the biggest thing ever because she was like, oh my God, I can make so much money off of this. I'm going to go sell it in the market, in the black market. And this is going to get me so much money and it's going to help me through the winter. So we meet her there. She takes the wolf, she skins it. I was like, oh.
I know.
It's
I
like
was
that.
Damn.
She skins it. She takes its like teeth and stuff, just like a lobotomy of this creature.
That's what I thought was weird. So to eat, she only took the deer. She left the wolf's body. She only took its fur.
Yeah. And then teeth also or something?
I don't know about
but
the
whatever
teeth,
it was she was doing, it was bad. Like it was like giving baddie. Like she was like cutting and like doing
she was like, I know how to do surgery.
Yeah, she skinned the entire wolf like in the middle of a jungle. So she takes all of that, she goes to the black market, she sells it. Before we get to go to the black market, we meet her family. I don't have a description for her family except to tell you that they're sent from hell. The dad is like a useless guy who does nothing. I think he has 2 broken legs or something.
Yeah, because basically they lost all their wealth. So Fairy used to come from wealth.
Yeah.
And then her dad made a really risky deal and they sent all of these ships with all their money abroad and the ships sank and they lost all their money. And then he took some loans from some shady people.
Yeah.
And then when he couldn't pay them back, they came and they beat him up. They ransacked their house.
Legs.
They broke his legs. So I know we sound so happy saying this, but like haram, he can't do anything.
Yeah, I mean haram, but like at the same time, it's like, it's giving, why did you have to gamble with all of our belongings? And then why were you so irresponsible? Like it's just giving not a man, you know what I mean? So she has 2 sisters, an elder sister, and I think two older sisters.
Oh,
she's the youngest.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
So she has Nesta and Elaine, and Nesta is a demon, and Elaine is like this like cutesy girl that Nesta is very protective over, and their mom is dead.
Yeah, their mom died.
Yeah.
I think, what would be interesting, we could get into the psychology of the characters, though. I think Nesta is portrayed as a demon because on a deeper level, she took in most of the trauma from the experience. She had the most memories, and she was the one that felt like through that she lost the most. But I don't understand why she was particularly mean to Farah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that she has like eldest daughter syndrome, where she did take on most of the responsibility, and as a result of losing her mother and then having her father feel like not have to provide for them, she felt like responsibility, but she did nothing about it. Farah is the only one doing something about it, which is she's hunting, she's providing for her family. So the man of the house is Farah.
Yeah.
But Nesta just, I feel like she has jealous. I feel like she has jealousy, or maybe.
I feel like the way to describe Nesta is she wishes she could do what Farah does.
Yeah.
But she knows she's not able to.
So she gives her a hard time.
So has resentment towards her.
Yes. So, okay. So let's see what else. It's interesting to me that the mom is dead. I wonder if sometimes, because a lot of times like no character just dies. Either it's because she wants her to have like extra trauma, or because the mom had some relations to the fairylands or something. There must be, because you as an author, you don't just like kill off, like, you know how you're an orphan, so that we learn later on that you had ties to this like other realm, like Harry Potter, and then his parents were like witches. So it's like I wonder why the mom is dead. Like that's a question that was like raised in my mind. But I don't, there was nothing to it.
I think sometimes though they kill off parents as a character building arc. So because Farah lost her mother, it made her more of a tomboy. She wasn't in touch with her feminine side, especially because she's the youngest.
Yeah.
And she's like alienated from her older sisters. I feel like she then took on this like role.
Yeah. I have a really interesting note here. Shame versus pride. Father never recovered from shame. Nesta hates him for it. And she's too prideful to work because once upon a time they were rich.
Yes.
It's
the ego.
So I do feel that way as well. So then the world is governed by ancient fear, charms, iron jewelry, useless word marks. So basically the fairies and the humans have this treaty as well. And they're kind of warded, so they're put in like a shell, and the fairies never come to them and help them. Okay. And then when they're in the market, they meet some of those crazy ladies who worship the fairies as well. Did you remember that?
I remember that. Does that come in later though? No, right?
No. And then also another thing, sometimes authors just like bring in characters and they don't go anywhere, but even though they are good characters, like they are memorable, but then we never hear of them again.
Yeah, like the swordsmith, remember there was a girl that was like a fighter?
Yeah.
And they introduced that character. And I know she came back briefly later in the book, but she didn't really turn into anything.
Or the shop owner. Like, she seems so interesting. She gave her like some useful information, and she was like, I'm in and out of the city.
But that wasn't the shop owner. She was the fighter girl that I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
She was like
she did buy
she
the
was
stuff
a
from her.
sellsword, basically.
Okay, but she bought the wolf stuff from her.
Farah sold her the wolf fur.
Yeah, so that was an interesting character, but she didn't go anywhere. Nothing happened.
She came back later when Nesta was looking for Farah. She was like, I contacted her and went to look for you and we couldn't find you. But that was it.
Yeah. Okay. I don't remember Nesta looking for her. So we have... okay, so then one day she is just chilling with her family, and also like Farah we're also told that she likes to paint. So she paints like pieces of the furniture. We're also told, but she doesn't have money and she needs to be the provider for her family. So her like side hustle, or like her hobby, and her wanting to be in touch with her feminine side is gone because she has to become a provider. And also we're told that she does have like a fling thing where she's friends with benefit with the farmer boy.
Yeah.
And that they get it on in the hay and like the stuff. So she is not like your typical virgin girl. Like, she has relationships with the farmer guy who literally doesn't even look at her.
Can we talk about that? You know what? I actually like that because I feel like in a lot of these fantasy books that I read, they almost, and I'm sorry if this is not the right word to use, but they almost fetishize like virginity, and like every character is like a virgin. Do you notice this?
But I would rather they're a virgin than like someone who's like too open with their sexuality.
No, but I felt like this was like in contrast to what you normally see in these books, because like it's always portrayed like, if you look at it in like common media and like all of these books, it's always like, you know, the dominant alpha male, the girl that like knows nothing and she's so innocent. Like, I like that this book was trying to put like a fun twist on a female character.
Yeah.
She's not like your typical like fawning doe in the woods. Like, she is you know, a baddie. Like
she has a backbone to her.
But then I also feel like they really were, sorry to the author, but like she really messed up like the character positioning later in the book.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But I do have like an opinion. I do feel like sometimes like it's just like too much. Like the girl is just too fluid where it's like, okay, like calm down. We all have like no girl. You need to work. I'm just gonna say you need to work really hard to let go of these
Societal
shame stuff. You know what I mean? So nobody's that just comes out of the womb that fluid. We're all
but
like
that's, I think,
conditioned.
No, but I think that's the whole point. She wasn't conditioned because she lost her mom at such an early age and her sisters didn't really care about her.
Yeah.
She almost became like, I think that's what they were trying to do, make her seem more like a tomboy.
Yeah.
So she just didn't care.
Yeah. But I don't like the fact that like the guy, like when I read that, I was like, oh my God, she has no self-respect because she's giving it to this guy who doesn't even provide for her or like say hello to her when he sees her. Like he wanted nothing to do with her, but they would still get together.
But she wanted nothing to do with him either.
Yeah, I don't like that.
She didn't care for him either. So I'm like,
I don't get that because I don't feel like as a girl,
I think you're just too much of a, like, I'm a romantic too, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think that was the exact point they were trying, like, she was trying to convey.
Okay, I get it for the author, but I also don't like that because I felt like she, like, no girl is just, like, right off the bat. You're right, maybe, like, all the feminine stuff didn't affect her, but, like, to me, it's hard to believe that the girl wanted nothing. I took it as disrespect. Like, even if you want nothing from the guy, the fact that he doesn't even say hello to you, that's disrespect. I'm sorry. Like, you can say hi to that person. You can't be like, hey,
you can be a little bit friendly.
Here's a basket of like extra vegetables that are dried up. Do you want them at least? He wanted nothing to do with her. To take her body and then not even say hello to her, I'm sorry. Like, where are your manners? And the fact that she was like, oh, I want nothing to do with him. No, you didn't have a choice. He is that guy who will take and give nothing back.
Yeah.
And now you're giving excuses
to him. You convinced yourself that
you're
okay with it.
She was forcing herself to be okay with it because she didn't have any other options. I do feel like she's kind of like that. Anyway, so then in the middle of the night, this big bad wolf-looking monstrous, it's kind of giving Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, it is.
This thing comes knocking on the door. By the way, her father is also very superstitious, and people used to like sell him like magical stuff that were not magical and like kind of like trick him into it and like buy wards and like whatever, and he used to be into superstitions. So but now this is no superstition. This big bad wolf is by the door knocking, and then they open the door. This thing comes like into the house and breaks the door or something. And he comes into the house and he's like, you've killed one of my people. And as a result of the treaty between fairies and humans, I have two options. Either I'm going to kill you right now because you took a life of one of mine, or you're going to come with me and serve as a servant. Like, your life is now mine.
But he didn't say servant. No. He was like, you just got to come live with me. And she was like, live with you? I was really confused by that because I was like, okay, he's going to take her back. She's going to be a servant or something. She did nothing. He was like, you just have to live on my land. And I'm like, okay.
And then it was giving like Pride and Prejudice because the dad immediately was like, okay, take her.
Yeah, he was like, you can have her.
Yeah, he was like, okay, no, go with him. And I was like, okay, like at least try to fight. And the sisters were so quiet and everybody was okay with her leaving.
Yeah, they were like, get out of here.
They were like, get out of here. I don't understand. It was giving Pride and Prejudice where she's trying to like get rid of her daughters. And they were like, okay, one less mouth to feed. But I'm like, that's your provider. How can you not even like put up a fight for her? So the family just says, okay, take our daughter. This is like so white people, you know? No dowry, nothing. He just takes the girl.
Yeah, you know what? But then again, they were just scared for, I was going to be like, why didn't he ask for something? But then I was like, they were scared for their lives.
Yeah, but you would still like, please. I get that he doesn't have legs, but at least like voice your opinion. Be like, no, please don't take her. They didn't even...
He was like, I'm not trying to get beat up again.
Yeah, not even once. He didn't even try. The man just sat there. So it takes them 2 days. So he puts her on top of a horse and he's like walking on his 4 paws. He's like, right? Yeah. And he's in his beast form. The fairy guy goes forward She's on a white horse, like the most beautiful horse. And she gets taken there and he kind of puts a spell on her where she falls asleep and she wakes up when they're in the fairylands. And when they're in the fairylands, it's suddenly spring. It's not even winter anymore. And she's looking around and she's like, oh my God, this place is beautiful. But all she's thinking in her head is like, I need to escape. I need to escape. And now because he's put a charm on me, I don't remember the way. And probably that's why he put it on me. So I don't know the way of in and out between the fairy and the human realm.
And she also wanted to escape because the whole time she was really worried about her family. Like she wasn't even thinking about
she was
anything.
Like, who's gonna feed them? Who's gonna take care of them? Yeah, she was worried about her family. So they get to this fairy's home, okay? And this guy's home, this ferryman's home is not a home, it's a manor. Mm-hmm. It's like a semi-castle, okay? And it's the most beautiful thing she's ever seen. And she's like, even at the height of our money, our house couldn't compare to this thing. And it's so beautiful. And she's like, how can they control the weather? How can they put like hexes on the weather so that it's spring here and not winter? And she was thinking of all of these like charms and stuff. And she was like, this is like nothing like we've been told about. Like these people have so much power. They get into the house. You remember the house stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, they get into the house. This monster Beauty and the Beast looking thing then suddenly turns into this gorgeous man. Bruh. He's giving, like, imagine blonde, long hair. He's wearing, like, a tunic that's, like, threaded with, like, gold. And it's, like, all green. And he's, like, muscular and just, like, fit and long, beautiful hair. But he does have, like, a mask that's covering his face.
Yeah, it's like a masquerade mask.
Yeah. And she's like, okay, what's that all about? Like, I can't see their faces. And then what happens? I forgot.
So basically, what happens next is his friend is there. What's the guy's name? I can't remember his name. Lucian.
Yeah.
How do you say his name?
They immediately get there. Lucian.
They get there and Lucian's there. He has red hair, also beautiful, but
with
different.
A fox mask.
Fox mask.
Yeah.
And then he's missing one eye. He has like a metal eye.
Yeah.
And so there are these two fairies. Lucian is a little bit like snarky and I would say like a bit of a diva.
Yeah.
Like he likes teasing her a lot, literally.
Sass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Tamlin is just there. And I would just remember that she was starving, like she hadn't eaten in days, right?
Yeah.
And then the table of food, just like, I think they snapped their fingers and then the table fills with food or something.
Yeah. And then it like stretched and there was an extra seating for her to like sit there. Yeah. So again, like magic stuff.
Magic. By the way, we have 10 minutes. So just to like.
Okay, so we can't do all of the book. We have to do it.
We're gonna do it in parts. I think the setup is so.
They start having dinner. All she's thinking about is that she wants to like get out of that place, and she's thinking of how she can escape. And then, I forgot what was happening.
Okay, so then what happens next is like she starts noticing that things are just a little bit weird. Right? She overhears conversations between Lucian and Tamlin.
Yeah.
And she hears them talking about like strange things. I can't recall specific
incidents.
Oh,
like a sickness that's going through the land.
Yes, a sickness.
Yeah. And she does this thing with the Suriel. You know when she puts like the chicken?
So another thing is that there are like weird creatures. So there are different types of fairies. The fairies that we interact with most in the book are the High Lords, and they kind of look more like human beings.
Oh, yeah.
That can shapeshift.
Yeah.
But then all across the land are these other weird fairies that are scarier, I would say.
Yeah.
Like the ACOTAR, the Suriel. What else is there? There's like other ones.
I forgot their names, but we have to mention that the guy's name, the blondie's name is Tamlin, and this Mandem is High Lord of the Spring Court. This man is the High Lord of the Spring Court. He's not just any fairy. Yeah. He is the High Court, and Lucian is his like right-hand man, like a visor.
Yeah.
And he is from the Autumn Court. That's why he has red hair. So they have specifications to the type of fairies they are and stuff. Yes. But they're having like sketchy conversation, and there is this like a plague that's going around, and like a sickness.
And I just keep hearing things.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a good place to pause and like let's give and run down opinions on the characters up until this point in the book, what you think.
And then let them catch up.
And then, you guys catch up, read the book if you haven't read it. Honestly, it was really entertaining. I will say it is a slow read because I'm someone that I think I struggle with my attention span. If something is not like turn the page exciting, I'm like, oh my God, this is so slow. You're hunting, you're in the forest. It is a good book. And so for that, like, I will give it credit in that, like, I think they build the land well, but it's not like my favorite book that I've ever read.
Okay. I understand that, but I just like for me, I come from reading a lot of boring books, so like this is like picking up for me.
Really?
Yeah. Like I read like translation of literature from like Persia or like Arabic like literature, and like those books when translated they suck.
They're like super slow.
Yeah, super slow. Nothing ever happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get your point, because I do think it's fast and it's slow. I think I'm not used to reading fantasy books. Maybe that's where it's different, because like the books that I read are just more your typical like romance, Lucy Score type of books, where it's like she's a country girl, she runs into this guy, she ran away from her wedding, and then there's tension and then they fall in love. So I think this is more of like fantasy world building, which I'm new to personally. So maybe that's why I think it's a little bit slower, because you really have to build a fantasy world.
Yeah.
But I will say, so I'm going to give like my opinions on the main character.
Yeah.
Tamlin I like, but I feel like he was not like my favorite male protagonist ever. I mean, we're going to get into the story, but I feel like he was like cute, attractive, nice, but he was just kind of there.
Yeah, I feel like I don't like I've finished the book and I don't like any of the characters, to be honest with you. I'm just reading because it's very popular.
Yeah.
None of the characters were like my favorite, but like the overall like vibe and the lore, because this is one of the first like fictional fairy books that I read. It was interesting, and like it was very girly in comparison to like everything else I've read from like elves and fairies and stuff, because it's like our introduction to the fairy realm was like Lord of the Rings. That was the first fictional, and they're not very, it's very masculine, whereas this is like more feminine. It's like, oh, there's two high good looking lords there, and like she's in a manor and she gets to wear pretty clothes and jewelry, and it's very girly. So it's kind of like a retelling. And by the way, these books are spicy, so apparently they do get like
worse,
sexual.
Yeah, because there were sex scenes for sure, but I didn't find them to be like particularly crazy.
Yeah.
Yet I've heard that the next books get worse.
They get worse. So apparently,
I feel like this one was like PG-15.
This was nothing.
Yeah, like maybe PG-13.
There wasn't anything
there was like, no, nothing crazy.
Like a kiss or something, but that's like young adult. That's not even.
There was more than kisses.
Okay, so before we end this, I want to tell you something. I did some research, and I am a Gen Z.
We keep having this argument. Yasmin thinks
I am actually offended that you think I'm a millennial.
No, she sends me this video on TikTok that has like the most random stuff that's old millennial stuff. We are young millennials.
I want to make this argument. If I'm born on the last years of what is supposed to be a millennial, okay, means I was just born, and all of those things like Gen Z and millennial or whatever, it's what decade you relate to when it comes to pop culture. Like what were you born, like raised with? By the time I open my eyes and I start watching television and I start getting affected by the outside realm, I was already in a Gen Z era. That's why I don't remember anything millennial.
See, I disagree, because maybe my experience was different. Like I was exposed to, like I listened to, Britney Spears, to Nelly Furtado, to Neo, to all of these.
You listened to them, but did you grow up with them?
I was 10, to be fair.
Okay, that's... the first time I watched something was... Like, I watched old Hollywood movies.
Like, my first crush ever was Justin Timberlake.
But he was older than you. Like, you were relating to
I was 10 years old, and I was like, oh my God, Justin Timberlake.
You were watching things that were like for your last generation, and you had just caught up to it.
Yeah.
It wasn't your generation stuff you were connecting with. You were connecting with people who were elder than you.
But I don't connect with Gen Z either. Like, I didn't One Direction. I didn't Justin Bieber.
To be fair with me, I relate to baby boomers, which is like the 50 eras movies. That's what I grew up with. I watched old Hollywood. Boomers. Yeah, my first ever movie that I watched was Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
And then I started watching black and white pictures, because like I come from a different thing. So
different generation.
But if I want to think about it, I cannot understand millennials. Like I connect more with Gen Z spiritually than I do with millennials.
I get you, because I think when you hear the word millennial, we always think of older millennials. I think we're on the cusp. So maybe we can come up with like a new word. We're Gen-nennials. Gen Zennials.
But whatever, I'm not a millennial. I just want to clarify that.
Okay, you're not a millennial. I'm on the cusp. I'm like on the verge. But yeah, this was a fun episode.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. I will end with a question because we always end with a question. Let us know if you've read this book, what your favorite things are about this book. And if you haven't read this book, comment down below some of your favorite fantasy books and maybe we can read it on the next episode or in the next series. And as always, it's not about having the perfect answer, but it's about reaching, remembering, and knowing that what we seek is also seeking us. Thank you, guys.